Welcome to the post-race press conference here at the Jeddah Corniche circuit. We're going to be joined by race winner Lewis Hamilton very shortly, but we're going to get things underway with Max Verstappen, who finished second, and Valtteri Bottas third. So Max, if we can come to you first, what a wild race. Can you just sum it up from your point of view, please?
Confusing. Third, then starting first. Test.
Yeah, you're good. Okay, so
confusing. Third, then first, starting first, dropped third to first, 5-second penalty, second, finish second, touches. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't agree with all the decisions, but I also don't want to talk about it too much because I don't think we need to talk about it. They don't deserve any mentions.
You're going to the stewards to discuss the incident on lap 37 at turn 1.
At turn 1?
And the incident after that, of course.
Okay.
When you and Lewis made contact. But can I ask you about that run to turn 1? What is your take on what happened there?
Yeah, so of course he had the run, a bit like Brazil. And of course I braked late, and I think I got a little bit off line at one point, I guess, and I had a moment, so I went wide, but he also didn't make the corner. So we both basically missed the corner, and I don't think it's fair to then just say that I get a penalty, but yeah, it is what it is.
And then what happened after that, just in terms of the communication you were having with the pit wall?
Yeah, so then at one point they told me I had to give the position back. So then that was, I think, just before 22. So then after 22, 23, I went to drive to the right side, and I slowed down, and I was braking, downshifting, and he just stayed super close behind me. And I don't really understand why. I was just trying to let him by. And then I'm just going slower and slower, pulling the downshift. And then we had a miscommunication or whatever, and he ran into the back of me. That was it.
Was there much damage to your car?
I haven't checked my car when I jumped out.
How did it feel?
Felt all right, but I think also, I was on the medium tires, and I think just the last few laps, the hard tires maybe a little bit better.
Okay, I was going to ask you about that decision to go on the medium tire. It got you into the lead of the race at the start, didn't it?
Yeah.
But then, do you think you would have been able to hold on had there not been all the incidents, if you'd been leading with Lewis second? Do you think you had the pace?
It was a virtual safety car, so you don't really lose time, I think it was actually all right. Yeah. It was just difficult. They were very quick, and especially when you have good pace, and then around here when you're all the time in the tow, the clipping becomes a bit less, and you can stay in the DRS. You get more energy, so it's quite efficient.
Final one from me, Max. You're level on points going into the final race of the season in Abu Dhabi, a race that you dominated last year. How confident are you?
Yeah, let's see. It's very important to have a good Saturday, that the car is working well, get the long runs in, and then we'll see what happens. But of course, it's exciting. Basically, we start again like we started the season.
Okay, thank you, Max. Valtteri, coming to you now. Well done. Great race by you as well. First up, that was very tight with Esteban Ocon at the end. How satisfying was it to pip him right on the line?
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, definitely was an exciting finish, and it was really, really close. Obviously, it was, to be honest, it was harder to get by him today than I thought it would. He actually was driving really well, and they were quite fast. And also before that, I was stuck behind Daniel for a long time, which made me to consume my tires quite a lot. So actually, my front right tire was pretty finished. So that made it even more tricky. But yeah, once I dropped to fifth on the first restart, I knew that it's going to be all about being patient and eventually getting there, whatever is going to be possible. And it was a bit closer than I thought, but made it.
What about that battle with Daniel Ricciardo? Felt like history repeating itself again after Mexico.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we obviously didn't collide this time, so that's a bonus. But yeah, it was good racing. It was tough race today, like pretty intense, and like the qualifying yesterday. So, but yeah, I enjoyed it.
And you're now 18 points clear of Sergio Perez in the Drivers' Championship. Happy with that amount of daylight with just one race to go?
Or is it more? Did I secure third, or I think I heard I secured third place, but I don't know. Anyways, it was good day as a team for the constructors and obviously for Lewis, and it's going to be exciting for them to be battling in Abu Dhabi, and obviously I tried to do my part, but yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Valtteri. Right, let's open this to the floor. Who's first, please? Can we start with Mark Manbryan, please? Mark.
Question from Max. During one of those incidents you had with Lewis during the race, he came over the radio and to quote called and that you were brake testing him. How do you respond to that?
Not really. I mean, like I said, emotions running high at the time, so it's what it is.
Well, we'll go to one more question from the floor, then we'll come to Lewis. Alex Kalinauckas, please. Autosport.
Next on. It's a question to Max, please. Max, you pulled off a brilliant overtake against Lewis and Ocon at the one of the restarts, but twice you were off cutting turn 2, ordered to give positions back. Do you think some of your moves were over the line today, or were they within the racing rules that the FIA outlined after Brazil? Thank you.
Well, I don't agree with the decisions, but like I said before, I also don't want to waste too much time on it, because we don't need to make headlines out of it. They don't deserve that.
Thank you. We'll go to stay with the floor. Next question, please. Let's go to Lawrence Edmondson, please, ESPN.
Yeah, it's another question from Max. And after the race, you said that Formula One's more about penalties than racing. What exactly do you mean by that? And are you now concerned in some way that this title might be decided by penalties rather than racing?
Well, it's not only this race, but in general lately, the trend in F1. Yeah, that's not how I grew up watching Formula 1, but I mean, again, like I said also after the race, it is what it is, and we just have to deal with it and move on.
Thank you, Max. Let's bring in our race winner now, please. Lewis Hamilton, win number 103. We're on handhelds just behind you on the floor. Many congratulations, Lewis. That was a wild race. Can you just start by summing it all up from your point of view, please?
I mean, it was amazing. It was an incredibly difficult race. What a great circuit we have here. It's very difficult to follow through that through 6, 7, 8, 9. To then be close to be in the DRS area through the next DRS areas, and then turn 22 is pretty hectic, but such a thrill to drive. And I like to think we approached. I think we approached it with a cool head today as a team, and I think the key for us was just staying calm. It was clear that it was clear that others around us were willing to take it to all sorts of levels in order to overtake, and so I just try to keep it on the track and stay out of trouble, which meant like avoiding incident if I could, and I'm really grateful that I still had a wing at the end, and then I just took a lot of risk at the end with the bit of damage that I had to get that extra point as we continue to fight. No matter what we've experienced as a team, and I think probably all of us, no matter what we face, we just keep pushing, never give up, and I think that's been the mentality of our team. I think today I've seen a passion and a excitement within my team that I think in 10 years I don't think I've seen that, which is amazing.
And Lewis, the incident on lap 37 going into turn 1 where Max was given a 5-second penalty. Can we just get your reflections on what happened there?
Yeah, I was just reminiscing about 2008 in Spa. in my championship winning, my first championship winning year when I was fighting Kimi into the last corner of the Spa chicane. And he run me wide and I went across the chicane and had to let him back pass, but then I overtook him straight away. And I remember Charlie Whiting telling the team that it was okay. And then finishing the race, Kimi obviously didn't finish the race, but then getting I think it was a 10-second or whatever it was, 20 seconds or whatever. It's 5. Okay, yeah. And then finishing third. At this point, obviously I knew that Max had overtaken two of us by going over over turn 2, which at the beginning of the race we're told that wasn't allowed. And but I hadn't yet had the information yet of that he would be backing off. So all of a sudden he started slowing down into 27 where the DRS zone is. And but it wasn't quite clear for me. It was a bit confusing. And then all of a sudden he slowed down at a rapid pace. And that's when I had to avoid going completely up the backside of him. And yeah, so I felt grateful that I obviously didn't take us both out. For me, I need to be finishing both races and get all these points, and it's obviously tough to do so with these circumstances. But yeah, I managed to keep the car in one piece.
Lewis, while we're talking about this incident, can I ask you a question from Scott Mitchell at the race? It's come in via email, and it's to both you and Max, please. Scott asks, earlier this season, you were avoiding any collisions, and you both insisted you could race hard but fair. That's changed, and there have now been several flashpoints. Is this inevitable with such an intense battle? Or do you believe something's changed in how you're racing that's caused it? Question to you two.
Well, I don't think I've changed the way that I race. I think we've seen multiple incidents this year where even like with Brazil, where we're supposed to do our racing on track in between the white lines, and that's that the rules haven't been clear. From the stewards that those things have been allowed, so that's continued. From my understanding is I know that I can't overtake someone and go off track and then keep the position, but I think that's well known between all us drivers, but it doesn't apply to one of us, I guess.
Max, please, your thoughts.
Well, I mean, I find it interesting that I am the one who gets a penalty when both of us run outside of the white lines. In Brazil it was fine, and now suddenly I get a penalty for it. Well, you could clearly see both didn't make the corner, but it's fine. I mean, I also don't really spend too much time on it. We have to move forward. I mean, we're equal on points now, and I think that's really exciting, of course, for the whole championship and Formula One in general. But I said it already on my in-lap. I mean, I think lately we're talking more about white lines and penalties than actually proper Formula One racing, and that's, I think, a little bit of a shame.
Okay, thank you. Can we go to the floor again now? Michael Maluski, please, from Build. Michael.
Question to Lewis, please. Lewis, when we had our interview on Thursday, you said that this is not the most intense or the hardest championship fight you had in your career in F1. Did that change today?
Well, I mean, it's definitely an incredibly intense year and time. I think I was just saying because I've raced for 28 years. I've had so many intense battles through karting, through single-seaters, and this is one of them. Of course, this is the pinnacle of the sport, so everything's heightened, everything is at this absolute max. So and so much weighs on it. So yeah, I mean, but I think it's great for the sport. I think it's great for the fans. I think they're enjoying it more than ever. I'm enjoying it as a racing driver. Yep.
Thank you. And Mark Bryan next, please. PA, Mark.
Question for Lewis, please. During the race, after one of the incidents, you came over the radio and called Max a crazy guy, and that you were being brake tested by him. Do you feel he drove dangerously, and were you at any point worried of being put out of the race and losing the chance to take the fight for the title to Abu Dhabi?
Well, I definitely feel that there were scenarios where that was the case. This is not the first time that I've had to avoid collision. And yeah, that's how I felt at the moment. But, you know, sometimes you say things in the heat of the moment and you go back and rewatch things and then you maybe feel differently. But in the moment, that's how it felt. But I really just tried to recompose myself and and chase down and keep fighting.
Thank you. We'll go to the BBC next, please. Andrew Benson. It's to you, Lewis. He says, when you ran into the back of Max when he slowed down, why did you not just go past him if he was slowing in front of you?
It really wasn't clear. So there's two scenarios. There's one that it wasn't clear. Two, I didn't get the information. And then it became apparent that he was trying to let me pass, which was what he was, I guess, had been asked to do, but before the DRS zone. And so then that would mean he would just DRS back past me coming through the last corner, follow me, and then DRS me into turn one. So that was the tactic. But I think really the worst part was just the steep, heavy braking that then happened at one point, which then I had to really. That's where we collided. That was the dangerous part.
Thank you very much, guys. You've got to get to the stewards, so we'll have to leave it there. Thank you.
Okay.